Alright, how's everyone doing tonight? Tonight we're continuing our playthrough of Fate Stay Night, the Unlimited Blade Works route. Didn't quite finish the February 14th story chapter, but last we left off, Shirou got into a fight with Archer, who turned out to be the future version of himself, and won. And then Gilgamesh took him out. So now Shirou is going to have, and Archer critically said that Shirou is key to defeating Gilgamesh, but not quite sure how. So we're gonna have to figure. So we're gonna have to see how that works. And let's go. Shinji Mato wanders through the forest, his breathing ragged and bestial. He was headed in a concrete direction, to be clear, but his mental state is utterly lost. With no objective, all he can do is run. Wandering is the only appropriate word to describe his behavior.
くそあと少しっていうところでどいつもこいつも潰しやがって
He pushes tree branches aside with one arm, splashing through the mud. Shinji heads for the forest exit, his blood stains marking his trail. Of course, the shoulder wound Lancer gave him hasn't healed. He's already lost sensation in his right arm. His wound is red and inflamed, and his arm won't move, like a necrotized limb. But this all could have been solved if he just went for the heart like the gay bong is supposed to. He trips and stumbles into a tree. It must be difficult running with only one arm. His right arm hangs like dead weight. Then he realizes that part of his body has become dead weight and starts to laugh. His laugh turns into a coughing fit. It hurts. He feels hot and feverish, perhaps due to the wound. His hazy mind imagines his raw arm rotting away. Then he starts to hallucinate about all the people around him also rotting away. Not just their arms. All those other idiots should know their place and be hurt even worse than he is. He can't stop laughing. The thought makes the pain slightly more bearable. He has a real purpose now. His first goal is to gather arms. They'll take arms from everyone, no exceptions.
そりゃいいじゃあ一番初めは決まってる
The girl who wouldn't do what he said. She's the one he likes the most, and he can't stand the thought of her looking prettier than him.
待っててよどうさかすぐに僕以下にしてやるからさ
Shinji mumbles a laugh and looks up. That servant is standing in front of him. When did he get there?
お前
He stares at the servant. The golden servant looks down at Shinji the way one might look at livestock.
傷を負ったのかひどいなそれではさぞかし痛かろう
His tone is utterly disinterested. Shinji's face distorts. He glares at the man in front of him, failing to realize what the servant's words might have implied.
痛かろうだと誰のせいだと思っているんだお前が間抜けだからランサーなんかにやられたんだぞ番犬役もできないくせに偉そうなことを言うな
Shinji rages at the servant. The golden servant nods, unconcerned.
その傷はランサーにつけられたのかではあのマスターを逃がしたのは奴だったのだ
ああそうだよお前がグズだから遠坂を逃がしちまったんだあんな死に損ないに取られるなんて思い出しただけで吐き気がする
そうかそれは残念だ
何を落ち着き払ってんだよ。遠坂がいなけりゃ聖杯が手に入らないんだろ。さあ、お前のせい。
安心しろ。予定に狂いはない。聖杯は作り出せる。
The servant speaks emotionlessly. Shinji doesn't realize that the servant's red eyes aren't even looking at him.
どうやって？いくら聖杯があってもその器がないとできないって琴峰も言ってたじゃないか。あのガキの心臓だけじゃ意味がない。あれは優れた魔術回路につなげないと聖杯にならないんだろ。
Shinji approaches his servant and berates him for his incompetence. The golden servant nods again.
だから問題ない。よりしろになるマスターならここにもう一人いるじゃないか。
Then he casually thrusts his arm out. Squish. Shinji doesn't realize what the noise was until the very end. His stomach feels strange. When he looks down, he sees a servant's arm. The fist is embedded in his body. It doesn't hurt, nor is there any blood. The servant's arm sinks deep into his stomach, as if it's performing some outlandish spiritual energy.
聖杯が欲しいのだろう。ならばくれてやろう。大事なものなら二度と手放すな。
Blood vessels swell. Wriggle, 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 wriggle. Wriggle, 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 wriggle. He feels something alien swarming and writhing inside him. And then he ceases to be Shinji Mato. He convulses. He fails to go Super Saiyan. There's just a swollen hunk of meat there now. It has no clear shape. It's made up only of naked muscles and blood vessels, sudden growths of meat, and short-lived decaying meat. His mind breaks, unable to withstand the discomfort of something wriggling inside him and the pain of endless growth and decay. The servant watches for a while, and then departs as if nothing remarkable happened.
醜いな。力ある魔術師ならば変貌することもないだろうが。まあ、仕方があるまい。
Oh, and what would happen to a powerful mage if this happened to him? Chains extend out. The chains of the heavens appear in midair to bind the infinitely expanding and rotting mass of flesh. Currently, it's teetering between growth and decay, but the Holy Grail should quickly learn how to use its host. Once that happens, the growth should greatly exceed the decay. At this rate, his Holy Grail will soon be complete.
ゲテモノの方が味は良い。何よりお前ならばふさわしい泥を吐き出すだろう、シンジ。
The servant chortles. In his shadow, the mass of flesh repeats, "Help me," in a no longer human voice. Interlude out.
Shirou, 傷はもう痛まないのですか?
Oh, this? Right. It should be okay. I feel fine right now, and I can still use my circuits.
そうですか。それならいいのですが。
She ended the conversation, but it seems something else is still on her mind. It's been an hour since we returned. We both have something on our minds, but nothing is said. We don't have time to be glad that Tosaka is safer now, nor do we have the time to celebrate our reunion. We're still in a dire situation. The last servant, Gilgamesh. As long as he holds the Holy Grail, we have no choice but to fight him. We don't have a plan to break out of this predicament. The more we think about it, the more we're hit with the feeling of despair. Of course, we wouldn't have anything to say to each other. However, that's not the only reason we're silent. It's probably because this is the last. This will be the last time we're heading into battle. It doesn't matter what the result, win or lose, what awaits us will be the same. The Holy Grail War will end here. After that, the three of us won't be able to talk like this again. Thinking back, we only spent 10 short days together. We were thrust into one happening after another during these 10 days. So much so we don't even have time to think about what happened yesterday. But it's not all bad memories during these 10 days. Now thinking back, there are irreplaceable memories I've made in these 10 days. And that's the reason we're not saying anything. We don't want to admit our time together is ending, and we're swallowing the words we want to say. Tosaka, Saber, and myself all have the answers in our heads. The reason we won't say it out loud, it's because we don't want to end what we had in the manner we have now.
じゃあ私から言うけど、私はアーチャーの仇を討つ。裏切られたしひどいやつだったけど、あいつはシローだったから。
Tosaka said so with determination in her voice. We will face Gilgamesh. She has said it clearly that we will end this fight.
シローはセイバーにはどうしたって付き合ってもらうけど、マスターじゃないあなたには無理強いできない。あの金ピカ、シローを目の敵にしてるみたいだし、戦うのなら真っ先に狙われると思うけど。
Maybe she's being considerate. She's even giving me a reason to back out. But I have my answer already. I can't leave Gilgamesh alone. Also, I have a hunch that the Holy Grail he's trying to use is not something that should exist. But there's another reason why I can't back out. You will defeat him. He left behind those words and chose to keep me alive instead of himself. The same man whose existence is to deny Shirou Emiya. Now that I've made him admit defeat, there's only one path left for me to take. I'm going to defeat him. I've already decided that I will fight. If I don't keep my word until the end, I don't know what Archer would say about me next time.
そう。あなたがそう決めたのなら止めないわよ。
Thank you. Besides, I can't leave the Holy Grail alone. If the Holy Grail does exactly what Gilgamesh described, then it's better if we destroy it completely, so the same event doesn't happen again. Saber has been fighting for the sole purpose of gaining the Holy Grail. That hesitation and regret are not something that can be easily erased. Even then,
承知しています。聖杯がギルガメッシュの言う通りのものならば、それはこの世にあってはならないものです。
she agrees to our plan by sacrificing her own wish. All right. I stand up from the floor and start walking towards the kitchen. I reach for my equipment in the kitchen. I put on my apron and roll up my sleeves, getting ready for a different kind of battle.
シロ、何かいいアイデアでも思いついたの？
Huh? No, I was just thinking about cooking. You're both hungry, right? Ignoring the dumbfounded two, I start making preparations for dinner. We came to a conclusion. Now we just need to go on with our day as usual. Let's eat dinner together, and then we can go beat him up afterwards. I take out the bowl and frying pan. I will use up everything I have in the fridge. There's no need to hold back. We're going to have a feast.
ええ、そうですね。いつも通り夕食を迎えましょう。
そうね。じゃあ私も手伝おっかな。セイバーはお風呂沸かしてきて。
The heavy atmosphere we had just moments ago is gone. The living room feels brighter and livelier. A night with the three of us together that will never come again. But in order to make it feel like any other day, we do our best to make sure we can enjoy our dinner in the most lively way possible. And after we finish and clean up our Western and Japanese mixed-style dinner, we resume our strategizing session.
ではリンは竜道寺に聖杯があると。
ええ、前から今回の恒例場所は竜道寺だと睨んでたのよ。キャスター対策で監視役の使い魔を放ってたんだけど、それもついさっき潰れたし、あの金ピカ竜道寺に陣取ってると見て間違いないわ。
竜道寺ですか。厄介ですね。あの山には山門からでしか侵入できない。当然ギルガメッシュも山門で待ち構えているでしょう。
そうね。けど逆に言えば位置が特定できて助かるわ。あいつも厄介だけど、聖杯の召喚を止める方が先決なのよ。セイバーにはあいつの足止めをしてもらって、その隙に私たちで聖杯を壊すっていうのが理想でしょうね。
Wait, don't we need Saber to destroy the Holy Grail? We won't be able to even touch it.
そうね。私たちに呼び出された聖杯を壊すことはできない。けどその前に聖杯の器を壊すことはできる。正確には聖杯が発動する前に停止させるってことだけど。
What do you mean by stop the Grail?
あんまり考えたくないんだけど、今までの話を総合すると聖杯はイリアスフィールの心臓でしょ。けど聖杯っていうのはイリアスフィールの体、魔術回路とセットだと思う。あいつはイリアスフィールが聖杯になることを嫌がって核となる器官だけを引き抜いたとするとね、聖杯として機能させるためにはもう一度魔術師の体に埋め込まないといけない。残ったマスターは私とあと一人だけ。私がここにいる以上、あいつが聖杯基盤に選ぶのは。
Are you talking about Shinji? If I remember correctly.
魔術回路がないって言うんでしょ。きっとそんなの構わないのよ、あいつは。不完全な聖杯を作りたがってるんだから、不完全なマスターに埋め込むでしょうね。血が絶えたって言っても魔党の血族には遺伝的に魔術回路の跡があるし、イリアスフィールの心臓なんてそんな核融合炉をつけられたら閉じてた回路だって力ずくで開かれるわ。
In that case, what we need to do first is to separate Shinji from the Grail. I don't understand what it means to become the foundation for the Grail, but we must stop it if we can still make it.
ですがそれをギルガメッシュが許すとは思えない。聖杯を止めるということはギルガメッシュを倒すということではないのですか。
That's right. It's obvious that he's protecting the Grail, so we can't go anywhere until we do something about him first.
そうね。けどあいつ山門で私たちを待ち受けてると思うのよ。私たちの最大の戦力であるセイバーが山門からしか入れない以上、それ以外だから。
なるほど。私は単身で山門から突入する。リンとシローはその隙に裏から竜道寺に侵入するのですね。マスターである2人なら竜道寺の結界も意味はない。
そういうこと。セイバーには頑張ってもらうしかないんだけど、とにかくあいつの足止めをして、私たちも聖杯を止め次第すぐに駆けつけるから。
Wait, that's too reckless. Just Saber by herself is no match for that guy. I don't think she'll be able to slow him down. Actually, I'm sure of it.
何よ、やけにあいつの肩を持つわね、シロ。
全くです。確かに彼は強敵だが、それでも防戦に徹すれば私とて簡単には敗れません。その根拠を言ってください、シロ。
Oh, well, that's not what I'm trying to say. From what I saw, Saber is definitely more powerful than him. I know that for sure. I'm even willing to bet on it.
ではなぜそのようなことを言うのです？
What I'm saying is that Saber's no match for him as a heroic spirit. How do I put this? First, if he only has the same type of noble phantasm as Saber, then Saber definitely won't lose. We're not even talking about their differences in sword-wielding skills. But what makes Gilgamesh powerful isn't his strength as a singular entity. No matter how strong a soldier is, they're no match against the destructive might of the war itself. That's the kind of servant he is. If you don't stand against him with the equal scale of force, he'll just swallow you whole.
つまりシロは私と彼とでは相性が悪いと言っているのですね。
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's why Tosaka, you can't just send Saber in without any sort of countermeasure. Unless we find some kind of weakness, there's no way Saber can win.
そんなこと言われなくても分かってるわよ。だから今からそれを考えようって言ってるんじゃない。
ではリンには策があるのですね。
あのね、そう都合よく思いつくはずないでしょ。シローの言った通り、あいつの宝具は戦争だもの。戦争っていうのは戦力をどれだけ整えたかで勝敗が決まるものでしょ。いかに上手に兵器を扱えるかじゃなくて、どれだけ相手と同じ戦力を。
What is it, Tosaka? Why'd you go quiet all of a sudden?
そっか、だから目の敵にしてたんだ。そうよね、自分の宝具を持たない英霊なら原点になる武器さえ存在しない。待てよ、それってつまり。
リン、どうしたのです？いきなり私の背後に回って。
なんでもない。ちょっと考え事するから2人で勝手に会議してて。
Saber and I look at each other. Well, if Tosaka has an idea, then it's fair we leave her alone.
ではそうなるとアーチャーとの一騎打ちは避けた方がいいということですね。ですが私とてリンのバックアップがある。彼女からの供給があれば封印していた私の宝具も問題なく使用できます。それならば彼が宝具を使用する前に倒せる可能性もあるのですが。
Saber's noble phantasm? Isn't that invisible air?
はい、風王結界は鞘に過ぎません。リンの許しがあれば私は自らの聖剣を使用できます。前回聖杯を破壊したのもその件です。
I see. So Tosaka ultimately has to decide whether to use it or not?
そうですね。聖剣を使用すれば私だけでなくリンにも大きな負担がかかります。リンの魔力の大半を奪うことになるでしょう。
Excuse me. You heard her, Tosaka. How much more magical energy can you spare?
魔力量ってなんで私の考えてることわかるのよ、あんた。
Huh?
なんでもない。私のことは放っておけって言ったでしょ。セイバーの宝具のことならちゃんと分かってるわ。言っとくけど私とセイバーじゃ撃てて2回よ。1回は聖杯に使うんだから、ギルガメッシュとの戦いに使うっていうなら1回だけだからね。
Well, Saber, that's what Tosaka said, but what do you think?
わかりません。アーチャーがあらゆる宝具を持つというのなら私の宝具と拮抗するものも所有しているでしょう。そうなればあとはどちらの宝具が優れているかという戦いになる。
So in the end, is it still going to end up as a competition of noble phantasms? If it ends up like that, Gilgamesh will have the upper hand. I won't let Saber walk into a reckless fight like that, but... Dang it, I can't put my thoughts together. By the way, what exactly is Tosaka doing? She's been acting weird. I say that because she's been looking in my direction, then quickly looking away. Hey, Tosaka, if something's on your mind, then say it. I'm sure you have an idea or two.
ないわよ。こんなところで言えるわけないでしょ、バカ。
I don't understand what made her say something like that, then quickly look away as if something weird is on my face.
シロ、
It's nothing. She's just weird. We'll leave her alone and keep thinking of something. And so, we're continuing our strategy meeting with just the two of us. But without Tosaka, the brain of our operation, we can't really think of an effective strategy to overcome our predicament.
ないんならさっきの案でいいでしょ。決行は夜明け前だから、それまで各自自分の部屋で十分に休みを取っておくように。
Tosaka has unilaterally decided the direction for us. Time is passing by. The hands on the clock are about to signal a new day. Tosaka told me to at least take a nap, but I'm not really in any condition to fall asleep. In a few hours, we'll have to face that servant. If we move right before dawn, that means everything will be over by the time the sun rises. There's no way I could stay still at a time like this. I should strategize with Tosaka. That's right, there's no way I can sleep like this. A strategy against Gilgamesh. If we are to face a cold-hearted enemy like that, we will end up with nothing but regret if we don't try to find an opportunity. If we go to Ryudo Temple now, I'm sure someone is going to die. Rather than end up with a regret like that, it's not a shame to try to do anything, to struggle until the very last moment. Tosaka, are you still awake? I knock on her door.
ちょっと待った、絶対入るな。
Knowing Tosaka, I thought she would be sleeping by now, but it seems like she's still awake. Not only that, she's panicking. I can hear her running around the room for something. It seems she's finally calming down. After a loud, deep breath that I can hear through the wall, she opens the door.
で、何よ。
She glares at me as soon as we see each other. Well, it's to continue our conversation from earlier. I want to think more about how we can counter Gilgamesh. Huh. Why are you staring me down like that? Tosaka, are you in a really bad mood right now? I already know what she's going to say, but it doesn't hurt to ask. What do you think? She'd obviously yell at me, but I really am curious, so I end up asking her anyway. However,
別にそういうわけじゃないわ。
well, now she's making me even more confused. Tosaka, do you have a fever or something?
ないわよ。もういいから入ったら。ギルガメッシュをどうこうするかってことなら、こっちから行こうと思ってたんだから。
Tosaka drags me in the room and locks the door. Then she slowly moves back into the room. Anyway, I start to move toward the center of the room. Facing toward Tosaka, I sit down across from her. Silence. She said she had something she wanted to talk to me about, and she's not saying a word right now. Tosaka, about Gilgamesh.
分かってるわよ。セイバーと戦わせたくないって言うんでしょ。セイバーには優しいのよね、ヘミヤ君は。
Hold on, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm simply saying that Gilgamesh is a bad match for Saber, so we should rethink our formation, that's all. If Saber is defeated and no one is left to slow him down, Tosaka would be next.
じゃあ配置換えって言うけど、どうするつもりよ。私はパスよ。あの金ピカ、金に焼かせて大魔術の武装をまとってるし。私じゃあセイバー以上に相性が悪いわ。それはあなただって同じでしょ。
She's right. But I just can't forget those eyes. What Archer's gaze was trying to tell me. That golden servant. Only Shirou Emiya can go up against Gilgamesh. Tosaka, promise me you won't get mad. But I'm thinking that maybe I should...
あなたがするって言うんでしょ。なんだ、やっぱり気づいてたんだ。ギルガメッシュの宝具の天敵はアーチャーの魔術なんだって。
Huh? My jaw dropped.
えって、シロー、あんた気づいてなかったっていうのに、そんなふざけたこと口走ったわけ？
Well, I wouldn't say that. I didn't have concrete evidence, but I had a feeling that maybe I had the best chance to fight against. Best chance. I didn't have a concrete evidence, but I had a feeling that maybe I have the best chance against him.
誰に入れ知恵されたか知らないけど、それは間違いじゃないわ。ギルガメッシュを最強たらしめているのは宝具の数でしょ。けど逆を言えば同じ数の宝具さえ持っていれば力は拮抗する。
Same amount of noble phantasms. Basically, I just need to copy every single one of his weapons as soon as he unleashes them.
そうよ。あいつはあなたたちのことを偽物だって言ってたけど、それは敵として脅威を感じたからでしょうね。あいつは英霊エミヤに対してだけは互角の戦いをせざるを得ないんだから。
That's true, but maybe that's the case, but there's a limit. You can tell that as soon as I project one of Archer's swords. There's no way I can project fast enough, and I don't have enough magical energy to do so.
あなたの魔術が今までと同じならね。けどアーチャーの宝具が何だったか覚えてるでしょ。あの魔術、固有結界さえ使いこなせるようになればギルガメッシュに対抗できる。
Tosaka stares at me with high expectations. Unfortunately, I can't answer her expectations. No way! Reality Marble is forbidden even amongst the most dangerous spells, right? Besides, I don't know how to do it. I don't even have a fraction of the magical energy needed when Archer created his world.
ええ、無理なのは分かってる。けどやり方ならあなたはもう知ってるはずよ。だってあなたの魔術は結局みんなそれなんだもの。強化も必要な魔力さえあれば驚くぐらい簡単に歯車が噛み合うと思う。
Even if that's the case, it still doesn't change the impossible. I don't have the magical energy to put up or sustain the reality marble. I'm sure Archer spent his lifetime strengthening his magic circuits, but I don't have what he has.
分かってる。でもギルガメッシュも言ってたでしょ。自分で補えないならよそから持ってくるのが魔術師だって。
Listen to me, I'm not skilled enough to try to siphon magical energy from other places. And I don't know how to store my magical energy into gems like you do. Wait, are you asking me to use those gems? Of course, I don't think she'll agree to that, seeing that I don't have any training in magecraft to be able to utilize those gems.
それで済むならとっくに渡してるわ。けど私の宝石は私にしか変換できないから却下。でもアプローチとしてはそれしかない。他人の魔力を自分のものとして扱うのにはいろいろと手順があって、現状でできることといったらもうそれぐらいしかないわけだし。
Hey, Tosaka, you mind sharing me what's on your mind? I can't help if you don't tell me what's going on.
そんなことシロに言えるわけないじゃない。
It seems she's thinking about something that's hard to tell me.
なんでもないの。方法はいくつか考えられるんだけど、その中で可能性の低いものを取捨選択していただけで。
Is that so? Then does that mean you have a good plan now?
率直に言うと私とあなたの問題。魔力の蓄えのある魔術師同士をつないでやりくりする方法よ。
So it would be like creating a path for the magical energy to pass through between us?
そう。シローに固有結界を使うための魔力量が足りなくても私にはある。あなたには私の魔力を使ってギルガメシュと戦ってもらう。その間に私とセイバーが聖杯を破壊する。こっちにはセイバーがいるんだから私の魔力が多少減っても戦力は拮抗するわ。
If I can use my reality marble to hold Gilgamesh back without any other servants and masters, the Holy Grail is left wide open. Tosaka being a mage and having Saber by her side, our chance of success is high enough. But that brings another issue. The hard part is the step before that. I don't know how to create a path for magical energy to pass through.
そんなの承知の上でよ。その方法を考えるのが私の役目なんだし。
Tosaka is thinking of something, but she doesn't look optimistic about it.
パスの通し方だけど、即効性があって魔力の融通が可能となると方法は数えるほどしかない。一番有効なのは魔術回路をお互いに移植すること。
Transplant our magic circuits into each other? Magic circuits are secondary pseudo-nerves that can be said to define a mage. Using Ode to exert influence on mana, the core mechanism of a mage. It's a living inheritance to make sure one's bloodline can have the foundation necessary to realize their family's great work when they've reached the pinnacle. You could say it's like the one's you could say it's like the one's blood and bone that strengthen as time goes on. Magic circuits, like the ones in you and me?
そう。魔術師の本質をお互いに移植すればこれほど確実なパスはないわ。相手の回路の一部が自分のものになればそこへ魔力を伝えることは造作もない。
Her explanation is short and simple, yet contains a sense of guilt. Of course it would. I can't even begin to imagine the consequences of doing something as crazy as transplanting your magic circuits into someone else. For a person to offer their own magic circuits to be transplanted, it also means they're giving up their integrity as a mage. But that makes it easier. Okay, I'll give you my magic circuits. But, Tosaka!
気持ちは嬉しいけど却下。だって意味ないものそれ。
Right in my face. She just ends up throwing my result right back in my face. Why?
いい？そもそも魔力を融通するのはシローの固有結界を使うためでしょ。なのにシローの魔術回路を減らしてどうするのよ。私の魔力とシローの全魔術回路を使って初めてあの固有結界は実現できるんだから。
I see. I'm the one who will use the reality marble. It will only barely be able to create a fantasy big enough to corrode the world itself when I fully exert my magic circuits. I will only barely be able to create a fantasy big enough to corrode the world itself when I fully exert my magic circuits. If I were to transplant some of my magic circuits into Tosaka, some of my magic circuits into Tosaka to create a path, then I wouldn't have enough circuits to perform my magecraft, which would defeat the purpose.
わかった。手間暇かけて戦力ダウンしているようなものよ、シロ。
I'm sorry, I didn't think that far ahead.
いいわ、そんなに謝らなくても。今の返答、それなりに予想してたし。ま、即答だったのは予想外だったけど。
So, we transplant your magic circuits into me? But that also means...
確かにシローの回路を私に移植するより逆の方が戦力は確保できる。でも移植の儀式をするのは私。魔術回路を使いながらその回路自体を減らしていくだなんていうのは術そのものの安定が確保できない。使い魔の契約ほど形式化していれば安全性は確保できるけど魔術師同士のパスのためなんてのはあんまり例がないことだし。
So this could end up bad for both of us?
そう。あなたの魔術回路を私がもらうのは論外。私の魔術回路をあなたにあげるのは惜しい不正解ってところね。だから。
That's Why?
あなたに私の魔術刻印を移植する。
Magic Crest. It records the secrets and hidden arts of a mage's family. It's their history. If magic circuits are the blood and bones of a mage, then one could say that the crest is their muscle. A magic crest is magecraft taking form. Through the life work of the mage leading the family in that generation, what was supposed to be formless is then given form. It's the proof of a mage's existence. Tosaka having inherited her family's crest, she gets to enact the magecraft that this generation's family had created. Wait, but that
分け
means...
与えるということなら魔術刻印の方が何倍も楽よ。魔術回路と違って本当に受け渡すためのものだから。まあ魔術回路ほど私そのものでもないけど、遠坂の家系でできているものだし、パスとして使う分には十分よ。
Are you sure?
本当だってば。刻印化している魔術はまあ使い物にならなくなるけど、受信装置としての役割ぐらいになら作り変えられるわよ。ああ、それとも成功率の話？一族じゃない人間に魔術刻印を移植できるかってこと？
Yeah, that part worries me too, but...
大丈夫、任せなさい。きっかり白をバックアップしてセイバーと3人で勝ち残って聖杯を手に入れるから。ええ、もう決めたことだもの。ここ一番の失敗も今回ばかりはねじ伏せてやるわ。
She asserts confidently with a bright smile. There's nothing else that needs to be said. Removing her magic crest. That's the same as delaying her family's ultimate wish with her own hands. I've seen that so many times. The fact that she could overcome that truth with a simple smile and with such determination and strength. I've seen it so many times.
何よ、急に物分かりいい顔して。私の顔なんか変？
What? Right. It's the same when we went to the church. I don't know how to put this, but it's hard to know what to like about you.
失礼な言い草ね。それで思い出したけど、あの時私って変な顔してたの？
The fated night when I summoned Saber. Tosaka looked seriously worried about me, someone who is just her enemy when I got sick at the church. I'll never forget how much that expression saved me. I can't say too much about others, but Tosaka was a really nice person, probably nicer than anyone I've ever met. Well, yeah, it was weird. At the time, I only thought of you as a goody two-shoes at school, so I didn't think you would make a face like that.
どうせ猫かぶりで冷酷な女ですよ。分かりづらくて悪かったわね。
Yes, but I've been saved by her. She's kind yet realistic, and has the heart of steel who's willing to discard her weakness at a moment's notice. She hides her hesitation and troubles in her heart, and always shows the elegant side of her to everyone, treading forward on her own path with grace.
で、それはいいけど、なんでジロジロこっち見るのよ、あんた。
What? Oh, I suppose I was captivated by you. I know it might be too late, but maybe I fell for you because of your charm. Then I can't lose. She's willing to transplant her magical crest to me without hesitation and regret. Then I must repay her kindness with my own trust.
好きって今はそういう話をしてる場合じゃないけど、聞いてあげるぐらいなら構わないというか。
Tosaka is readying herself. I'm glad. It seems she's prepared and has noticed my resolve. Yeah, I understand. We're short on time, so we probably shouldn't waste time on small talk, right? Come on, let's start the transplant. Specifically, what am I supposed to do, Tosaka? Her mouth is wide open. That's weird. Did I just say something funny? What is it now? Did you just think of something we should be worried about? For example, some kind of jinx that prevents us from performing the ritual at a certain time of day?
別にちょっと頭痛がするだけ。 慣れたつもりだったけど、エミヤくんの巡りの悪さを甘く見ていたわ。ほんと今に始まったことじゃないからいいけどね。言葉自体はまあ悪くなかったからよしにしといてあげるわ。
She swings her body and turns away from me, and then she starts to take various items out of her bag.
はい、とりあえずこれ飲んで。痛み止めみたいなものだから。
Okay. I put the lozenge in my mouth. Tosaka turns out the light in the room and starts to draw some kind of pattern on the floor. About 5 minutes have passed. After the preparation is complete, Tosaka sits down on the bed. Okay, Tosaka, what am I supposed to do now? It doesn't seem like she didn't hear my question, but Tosaka's having this strange troubled look on her face. What's going on? Is it something you can't tell me? I'm prepared for anything, so it won't faze me unless it's something really surprising. This is what I meant by trust. Tosaka nods her head.
じゃあ言いにくいんだけど、とりあえず服を脱ぎなさい。
Shirou, strip. With nervousness in her tone, she issued me a command I'm not used to. Let's assess the situation. The lights are off. Tosaka's sitting on the bed with her head down, clearly nervous. Why am I the only one realizing this now? Tosaka's soft-looking body and her supple legs dangling above the floor are all making her look very seductive. And she's asking me to take off my clothes.
そこ変な誤解しない。単に服を脱げって言っただけでしょ。私だって脱ぐんだから公平だし。
I took my weird fantasy back after she yelled at me. Wait, are you taking your clothes up too? I don't know how else to interpret what she said other than taking it as exactly what it is.
だから曲解しない。服を脱ぐのは体温を伝えやすくするためで、それ以上の意味はないんだから。いい？魔術刻印の移植には高度な共感状態にならないといけないのよ。そのためにも余分なものはできるだけ剥ぎ取っておかないとダメでしょ。
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Of course. I'm not sure what transplanting a magic crest actually looks like, but from the sound of it, it could be similar to a medical transplant. I guess you wouldn't operate on a patient when they're fully clothed. You could have told me that from the beginning. I just need to take the top off, right?
当たり前でしょ。下まで脱いだらそこのヒーター投げつけるから。
It's scary thinking of what she might actually do. Taking off my top. I have had her take care of my injuries a few times already, but it still feels a little embarrassing. I can hear Tosaka taking a deep breath in the dark.
じゃあ次ね。シロ、ちょっとあっち向いてて。
Right. I forgot you had to take your clothes off too. No answer. Taking her silence as affirmation, I quietly turn around. As I turn my back towards her, I take a deep breath to calm myself. I'm going to receive her magic crest and create a path between us. Her magical energy will pass through it and allow me to activate the reality marble in order to defeat that servant. This is simply a process in this long and dangerous fight. I should be able to suppress unnecessary thoughts by just reaffirming that fact to myself.
いいわよ、シロ。
My heart skips a beat. I turn around slowly to face Tosaka. I let out a sound. It might seem rude, but I'm troubled by what I'm seeing. Say, Tosaka, why are you taking off your clothes so reluctantly? Tosaka has taken off some clothes, but from the way she removed them, I don't feel any resolve in her.
何よ、不満だっていうの
？Not really a problem per se, but it's not symmetrical. Basically, I took off everything I was wearing on top, but you've only taken off that much clothing. The ratio just doesn't match up. It's gotta be relatively the same between us.
わかった。両足とも脱げばいいのね。こやつ、思いもよらずマニアックな。
Well, I shouldn't press further on what we're talking about. It's fine. You're the one performing the ritual, so as long as the ritual can be successful, I won't complain.
そりゃ脱がない分難度は上がるけど、だって全部見せちゃうのもったいないというか。
Tosaka's murmuring to herself. Fortunately, it's taking everything in me to keep calm, so I don't have any energy left to argue with
じゃ
Tosaka.
あシロ、もう一度後ろ向いてて。
She whispers to me, and I turn around immediately. This time, the sound of Tosaka's clothes rustling lasts a little longer than before. Once again, I remind myself that this is a serious ritual. Even if Tosaka is in her most exposed and defenseless form, my becoming frantic will ruin this whole thing.
今度はこれでどう？シロ。
Tosaka's voice trembles. I slowly look over Tosaka's body. I can faintly see the soft outline of her body under the dim lamplight. Her shoulder, neck, and collarbone form the most beautiful silhouette.
どう？これで満足？
I'm relieved that even when she looks so beautiful, she's still the same snappy Tosaka. I try to relax my expression as I feel that I may have unknowingly broken into a smile. Barry, this is actually making it a bit difficult for me. I cover my face with my hands and take a very deep breath. If I don't at least hide my face, which is probably red as an apple right now, I'll lose my composure.
その顔を見れただけでアイコにしとく。じゃあシロ、こっち来て。
Tosaka makes a gesture, beckoning me to join her at the bed. We sit facing each other on the bed. The bed bounces, reacting to our weight. Without saying a word, we both take a deep breath. Tosaka is going to start the magic crest transplant. I force myself to calm down before this intimate encounter. My consciousness is getting clearer as I focus my mind.
始めるわ。シロの胸にこれを当てて。
She reaches out her left hand with the magic crest. As I begin receiving magical energy, the pattern on the upper area of my exposed arm faintly starts to shine.
同調した後にシロの魔術回路に魔術刻印を移植する。魔術刻印は筆境他人の体。植え付けられるのは異物を盛り込まれることだから、体は拒絶反応を示すかもしれないわ。
I understand. I'm used to rough stuff like that. This is no different from how I was training to use my magic circuit. Activating a foreign nerve system while learning to control it. Not sure if it will be the same experience as with the magic crest.
そうね。体に無茶させるのは慣れてるんだっけ。
Maybe because this reminded me of my usual training, but Tosaka lets out a small giggle. However,
それはそれとして、変なことしたら殺すからね。
she glares at me with narrowed eyes. What do you mean by weird? She ignored me. I shortened the distance between us to the point that our shoulders are practically bumping together. It looks like I'm embracing Tosaka's left hand. I could feel Tosaka's breath on my neck. But then I realized she isn't just breathing.
清く将来。刻印制御。第一、第16、停止。
Her breath trembles as she utters the incantation. I can sense that magical energy is filling her body through her left hand. Her delicate fingers are placed on my chest. Through them, I can feel her pulse together with my own heartbeat.
名薬を刻む。一つ、二つ、三つ、四つ、五つ、六つ、数えなく。
That doesn't sound German. I close my eyes to concentrate even further. My heartbeat is syncing with the pulse of her magical energy. She's adjusting her pulse to match mine while I maintain a steady rhythm. I focus my mind and keep it in a serene state like I do during my own training. This is the only thing I can do, since I've never experienced synchronization and don't have a feel for it. My eyelids are closed as if they've been sewn shut. My sense of smell is weakening, and my sense of taste is fading. My body's senses are getting distorted. I can't tell clearly if I'm sitting down or if I'm standing up. In contrast, I can feel the warmth of Tosaka's skin intimately, my own heartbeat and Tosaka's pulse. I can't tell which is which anymore. A phantom pain as if someone was having a hold over my heart. A phantom experience as if I'm gripping someone's heart. I move around my fingers trying to identify this feeling I have in my palm. My hearing still works. I heard a sound just now. Wait, my senses are mixed up. I can't tell if that was my body I touched or if it was Tosaka's voice I heard. The breaths that escape from her mouth are pained. Even while knowing that it isn't my own breath that I'm hearing, I can't help but listen to it.
ちょっと真面目にやりなさいよ、シロ。
A voice from inside me just yelled at me. I try to ask what's happening and what's going to happen.
今は同調の初期段階よ。だから感覚が入れ替わって混乱している。これから本番が来るわよ。集中しないと共有感覚に弾かれるから。
That was as much as I could hear before I suddenly lost myself. It feels like my body has turned to paper and is rapidly being folded up. Slowly, the paper that is my body is being carefully tucked away. But since time has stopped for the surrounding world, from the outside it probably seems like all of this is happening at the speed of light. There's no limit to this repeated process of accumulation and contraction. Even though there is a limit to how many times you can fold up a two-dimensional surface, no matter how much area it has, my body keeps folding inward. My vision turns blue. Well, it was red before I was folded up. I'm floating. I'm falling yet floating at the same time, and the world is passing by me at a rapid speed. I try to reach out my hands and familiarize myself in this world where acceleration and termination exist at the same time. I just realized that my arms were already folded away, so there's nothing for me to reach out with. Now that's an issue. I already severed things that I've deemed unnecessary to this place, but I didn't think I would lose my arms and legs. If this keeps on, then I will lose my sense of self. That's why the first thing I need to do is not to confirm the world, but to assume my own form. I squeeze my hands. Although temporary, I've certainly achieved a sense of self. I'm floating in a blue celestial sphere. There's no up or down, no sky nor earth. It's quiet. I'm not talking about sound, but my current finite state of serenity. Time is flowing on the outside. Blue sea fills the outside. There's nothing within the celestial sphere. That means the celestial sphere is the sky to the blue sea. The egg of the world. Is the celestial sphere being covered in shells? Or is this the celestial sphere flipped inside out? Does the void give birth to all? Or does the void seep out from it? The celestial sphere continues to rotate while inverted. Here, time is eternal. The formless gains form over the course of an eternity. Nothing shares the same form, and no lives differ from one another. It is a phenomenon that is common to all things. Common forms congregate and thus give form to different laws. Each rare occurrence also represents each great result. Beautiful. Just like fish traversing through the vast sea. Will does not exist in this complete world. This world doesn't create persistence or preservation, no symbiosis or hostility. This place welcomes visitors. If a foreign object falls in here for them to exploit, they will, of course, respond to it. The tremendous flow of time is wavering. The collective of magic crest senses the foreign object's intention. But you must be careful. My senses are subverted. I'm seeing illusions. A hidden past not of my own passes me. It was an old memory. Someone else's memory. A memory of parting with someone in the morning. A memory of being placed in a mansion away from Fuyuki once the battle had started. You must be careful, no matter what kind of response to whatever intention. Any process conducted by them can only be perceived by humans as divine punishment. In a body that has no need for eyeballs and a brain, I'm getting dizzy. Information is passing by me. I'm seeing old memories, parting with a certain someone in the morning. The memory of a person who watched their loved one leave knowing she would never hold his hands again. Lines from the magic crests are swimming around me, surrounding me while looking for bait. There's nothing I can do. Well, there's nothing a bait can do to begin with. This won't result to anything unless I observe and accept everything like this. Change is ever so slow. Time surrounds me in a spiral, passing through my body. It starts to corrode me, like it has been devouring the world. Characters: 2. Season: winter. Name: farewell. Flowers are being offered. A young girl standing in front of the grave. A priest standing, towering behind the young girl. There are no words. The girl is determined to bury her own sadness yet again today. Foreign substances are invading. Spiral blades are closing in on the body. It is like a malicious bolt and bubble. The crest transplant is starting. I observe the gruesome reality. Fortunately, my function to feel pain is still folded away. I see myself being cut, binded, severed, dismembered, compressed, and played with. But it feels like someone else. Oh, how easy it is to cut. Oh, how easy it is to cut the flesh. Oh, how easy it is to shave the bone. The only thing left felt like a soul being eternally tormented. One of my arms turned into that of an incise. It seems like it. How disgusting. I don't remember it getting this dark in the anime. This is also her suffering. A type of pain that I've heard resides within the magic crest. I respect her. She harbors this kind of discomfort, or rather horror, that is several times more repulsive inside her body, yet she's able to laugh like that. She doesn't feel any disgust. When you think like that, what is there to be afraid of? Suddenly I've come in contact with a particular deep spot. This is mixed in amongst memories of farewell and departure. It was an encounter that seared into her heart. Someone was running in the schoolyard. It's high jumping. Someone was running towards the bar again and again. She was standing there, watching the whole thing. It was meaningless, and he kept trying until sunset. She thought to herself, what is the meaning of this? Yet she kept on watching, as if she was betrayed by something, as if she just witnessed something precious. That was it. An after-school sight that's not unusual at any school. But to her, it was a sight that stirred up a revolution in her heart. Faintly. It was a sight familiar also to me, a sight from the bygone days. Time is returning to the outside. The whole world is returning completely. The strong self-awareness gained in exchange for my folded-away body is evaporating, just like foam disappearing on the surface of the sea. I was cut away from the inner world as I welcomed a strange substance in my arm. My body feels heavy. I open my eyes while I'm still half asleep and try to faintly grasp my surroundings. My consciousness is coming back. I'm lying on the bed facing up with the top of half of my body naked. My left shoulder is burning and sweating. When I try to wipe the sweat away, it hurts as if it's suffering from a burn. I thought I was seeing more fingers. It's obvious I'm not the same self from earlier. By the way, Tosaka, was the ritual a success? Just how many hours have passed since then? Don't tell me, did I end up passing out and sleeping while time just passed by? Thank goodness. Tosaka, you're still there. That's a relief. I thought for sure I'd overslept and... Am I imagining this, or is she glaring at me? Tosaka, was it successful?
もちろん成功したわよ。申し分ないぐらいバッチリ。後遺症なんて出ないぐらいきっかり。そういうのが得意だった綺麗だって、我が弟子ながらよくやったって陰険に褒めるぐらい完璧に。
Oh, okay. I'm sure that must be quite the achievement. But somehow Tosaka isn't proud about it, and she doesn't feel like her usual arrogant self. Rather, she's angry. She's really, really angry. I can sense the tension between us. She's clearly sulking about something. I don't know why, but it seems something has gone wrong. I feel like I need to read her mind immediately and calm her down, but I'm such a bad pupil, I'm not able to think of any reason as to why Tosaka would be angry. This persistent pain in my left arm. A strange feeling that's like a combination of sharp pain from deep cuts and a stinging pain from being burned. Whoa! Without a doubt, a streak of an elaborately designed seal is branded on my left arm. It looks like Tosaka's magic crest, and it emits a faint blue light. Tosaka, is this?
ええ、私から移植した魔術刻印よ。もうただの回路になって、元の魔術の痕跡もないけどね。
I see. Well, this sure is something. I thought it would hurt, but it doesn't really hurt at all. If anything, my arm only feels a bit more heavy than before.
それも時期になれるわ。魔力をつなげるだけのパスだから、人体にもそう影響はないはずだし。刻印、いえ、回路の方が体に擬態していくから、半年もすれば何も感じなくなる。
Is that so? Then this
移
means...
植は完了。基本的には私からシロへの一方通行で、そっちから魔力を送ることはできないわ。 今の段階でできるのは私の魔力を送ることだけ。ここからはあなたの頑張り次第よ。固有結界を作る魔力はこれでクリアしたんだから、あとは。
My problem. All I need to do is fully activate my magic circuit and successfully create the reality marble. You're right. Thank you, Tosaka. I'll make good use of your magic crest.
当然よ。ごめんなんて言わせないわ。お金にしたらもう超クラス。一生ものの貸しなんだから。
You're right about that. Oh, why were you so angry just now?
見たでしょ。
Huh? What did I see exactly? Don't tell me that when I thought I blinked out during the ritual, my body actually acted on its own and did something to Tosaka. Wait a minute, did I do something?
だから見たでしょ、このけだもの。
An animal? Not possible. Did I actually do something to her that was so rough that she would use that word to describe me? Wait, there's no way that happened. I mean, the bed is tidy, and besides, I wouldn't be alive if anything like that happened. Now I remember. First and foremost, my eyes weren't functioning during the ritual, so I really couldn't see anything other than what looked like magic circuits and looked like the magic circuit and... maybe that's what Tosaka was talking about? An illusion I saw for a brief moment. In the state where we were sharing our senses due to the synchronization, it's possible that we could see imagery from each other's mind. It wouldn't be much different than when I saw Saber's dream or heroic spirit Emiya's dream. It all makes sense now. If this is the case, then the only thing I saw that she would care about is that scene taking place at a schoolyard during sunset. Something that I haven't seen in my other dreams. I got it. It must be that. Tosaka, you've been having a weird dream, right? At some schoolyard somewhere, you kept looking at an idiot who wouldn't give up on the high jump until sunset? What was that about? Whoa! I was hit by a pillow before I could finish my sentence. It was a shift and powerful sting. A critical strike even Saber and Fujin would be proud of. Ah! There's another problem. It's the fact that a normal soft pillow can have the impact and damage as if it was filled with water or something. Tosaka, what are you...
うるさい、うるさい、うるさい!
She keeps on hitting me with the pillow. Still looking like she did when she started the ritual, Tosaka continues her assault with the pillow. Ouch, ouch! Did you fuse some magical energy into that thing? Would you just quit it and tell me what's up with you?
うるさいけだもの。人の秘密を覗き見ておいて、何ふんぞり返ってるのよ。
Ow! Stop! Wait a minute! That's a secret to you? When I was surprised by her answer, she saw the opening and hit me in the face. That was a swift and powerful pillow uppercut. Maybe it's also the exhaustion from the transplant when I'm haphazardly knocked out again. Tosaka must still be angry because she grabs me by the back of the neck and starts dragging me across the floor.
いいわよ。いつかこっちから恥ずかしい記憶を覗き返してやるんだから。その時は土下座をしても許さないわよ。
Hope you like city-sized bonfires. Please forgive me. Wait, what are you doing? She won't hear me out at all. She grabs the back of my neck and throws me out of her room.
エミヤくん、女の子にはいろいろ支度があるから、自分の部屋に戻っててくれない？
With that evil grin of hers, Tosaka slams the door. Thrown out into the hallway looking like this, I blankly look up at the door. Can I at least get my shirt back? Don't be ridiculous. Guys have lots of stuff to do too. I hold my dizzy head and get up. I thought of saying something back to Tosaka on the other side of the door, but I decided not to. I wasn't able to ask Tosaka what that scene I saw meant to her. Well, if she's that mad about it, it must have some special meaning to her. Muttering silly stuff like that to myself, I go back to my room. It's probably just an excuse for Tosaka to kick me out, but it's true that there's no time. The date has already changed. There's probably less than an hour left before we head to the temple. Yeah, this is... I close my eyes and feel the magical energy from Tosaka pouring into me. Tosaka isn't consciously supplying me, yet it's filling my body up. If my maximum magical energy capacity is 20 or 30 units, then she always has 500 units of magical energy. I'm sure it would take years to stock up, but her maximum capacity might reach 1,000 units if someone supplied her. I'm surprised. She really is amazing. That reconfirms it. Or rather, I finally realize it now. Well, she's depleted now, and mages usually only keep about 80% of their magical energy, so Tosaka's magical energy is about 400 units right now. But that's still a massive amount of magical energy. I use about 2 units of magical energy to use Strengthening Magecraft once. To use Projection once, I use about 5 units of magical energy on average. Using that example, the projection that I can use only 6 times at most could be used 30 or even 60 times with the help of Tosaka. Well, a cheap vehicle will overheat no matter how much fuel there is. But it has still tremendously increased my power. I might even have a chance of winning against the King of Heroes like this. All that's left is to get my shirt back. There's 1 more hour. I should rest my body until then. I'll rest my body and regain my mental and physical strength for the final battle at Ryudo Temple. Everything is set. I'll face the last night with a fully prepared body for Tosaka's sake. For Tosaka's sake too, since she gave me your magic crest and opened up to me. And we're gonna have to call it there for tonight. So hopefully next time we do this, we'll be able to go finish the route. So I hope you guys are enjoying this, and have a good night.